Good morning, Robert Scribbler filming for the OBX wave report at Jeanette's Pier as some really nice, I'd say 2 to 5 footers roll in here off the North Atlantic. Got a guy on the backside foamy catching into maybe a linking section there, trying to stay in the power zone. Woo! Yeah, getting a few pumps in, some fun rides. All right, yeah, so we've had some fun waves here over the past couple of days, from some 4 to 7 foot waves yesterday here at Jeanette's Pier. We're definitely staring into the Dragon's Teeth. Shout out to our friend and expert drone operator out in California, checking out the wave report here in the Outer Banks every day. I'm sorry, expert drone operator out in Colorado. Good buddy of mine. Shout out to Sean as well. But yeah, 4 to 7 foot waves yesterday, and we were definitely staring into the Dragon's Teeth of some 5 foot tall walls of foam that we were duck diving underneath. Did get down into South Nags Head earlier today. Got some great rides with my buddy Sean as some beautiful waves rolled in here. Once again, 2 to 5 footers here in the Outer Banks. Woo! Another little aerial from our, I wonder if that's Bo. Might be Bo surfing. We got a pro surfer here in Nags Head, is very famous for those kinds of maneuvers, so that might be him. All right, so definitely expecting some good waves over the next 2 weeks. I think the worst days are looking at 1 to 2 footers, and the best days, I would say, looking at some 4 to 8 footers next week, as Franklin is expected to track between Bermuda and the U.S. East Coast, and that is really the sweet spot for storms when it comes to waves. I'm really excited about the potential conditions coming up. All right, so let's get down into the local wave monitors. Give you guys some local reports on conditions right now here at Nags Head. We've got 2 to 4 foot waves plus, so some 5 footers rolling in as well. Maybe even some 6 footers on the sets. Some semi-glassy conditions here, as you can see. Woo, nice little backside. East swell coming in at 3.8 feet and 7 seconds. East winds at 8 miles per hour as another surfer drops in. Sorry if I had to angle up too high on the camera. Ocean water temperatures at 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Air temperatures hanging around the 80-degree mark. All right, and then heading down south. Actually, let's talk about Virginia Beach right now. Virginia Beach, 2 foot plus waves. Fair conditions. I bet it's getting a little bit glassier there as well. 2 foot plus, so we're probably seeing a couple 3 footers, maybe even some 4 footers on the south. And then heading on down south to Radiantly, we've got some 3 foot plus waves, so I'd say 3 to 5 footers. The bumpiness of earlier today also glassing out with the lighter winds. East northeast swell at 4.2 feet, so some larger conditions down there at Radiantly. And east northeast winds coming in around 9 to 10 miles an hour. Air temperature is 76 degrees. Ocean water temperature is 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And then Buxton right now at 3 foot, probably 3 to 5, possibly even 3 to 6 foot down there at Buxton, as we have a left and a right, some nice waves there. So 3 to 5, 3 to 6 foot waves down there at Buxton, with an east-northeast swell at 4.3 foot and 7 seconds. Air temperature is around 75 degrees down there at Buxton. Ocean water temperature is 83 degrees. And last of all, at Frisco, 2 to 3 foot waves and slightly bumpy conditions. All right, so let's talk about the tropics. We did foreshadow a little bit about the tropics, but we are going to talk a lot more about Franklin. Okay, so what is Franklin? Franklin is a tropical storm that emerged in the Caribbean, smashed into Hispaniola and Dominica with some heavy rains, tropical storm force conditions, and has now emerged east of the Bahamas and is heading north of the Turks and Caicos Islands right now. This is a major feature for the Atlantic at this time. Can't emphasize it enough. It's going to dominate the wave picture for the early to mid portion of next week. We'll say likely all of Monday through Thursday of next week. So looking at some really serious and fantastic conditions on the way if the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, from our friends, our scientist friends at the National Hurricane Center. Can't praise them enough for the good work that they do. All right, so what is expected to happen with Franklin? Franklin is expected to strengthen into a strong Category 2 hurricane with 110 mile per hour winds and position itself between Bermuda and the U.S. East Coast. So once again, that is the perfect position for OBX wave generation, starting on Monday and running all the way in through Thursday. Let's hope that Franklin does not threaten land and only becomes a major wave generating feature. We'll keep our fingers crossed, because Franklin does look like it's going to turn into a rather dangerous storm center should it threaten land. All right, we'll be talking about Franklin quite a bit more as we get into this weekend, and next week we'll be keeping all eyes on Franklin. We also have a disturbance, tropical disturbance in the central tropical Atlantic, about 1,000 miles east-southeast of Bermuda. This system is likely to develop into a tropical storm over the next 48 hours, so we'll be keeping all eyes on that. But considering the fact that it's out in the central Atlantic, it would have to develop into a big storm to push waves all the way out to here in the Outer Banks. Our third system that we're watching is in the central tropical Atlantic. This bad boy is west of the Capo Verde Islands and has a 40% chance of developing into a tropical depression or a tropical storm by next week, so over the coming 7 days. And last of all, the fourth system that we are monitoring is in the Northwest Caribbean Sea. This is a weather feature emerging from South America. So big ball of clouds that just floated off of South America. Woo, some sweet waves here. Oh, nice drop in. So big ball of clouds emerging off of South America, got into the Northwest Caribbean, near Central America. And this bad boy has a 50% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone over the next week. So count them, 4 systems that we are monitoring in the tropical Atlantic. I can't help but be stoked, and you can probably hear the stoked in my voice. That means likelihood of some serious waves over the next couple of weeks or more. This is wave season, folks, so much joy in the waves. It's also tropical cyclone season, so we're going to have to, keep our eyes out on this Atlantic, which has been heated up by the forces of climate crisis driven by fossil fuel burning. I got some bad news for you guys. It's not good news, but I mean, the GOP has linked its course to the cart of climate change denial, and that's just wrong, amoral. And one of the reasons why I left the GOP back in the early 2000s, Dr. Michael Mann having some very salient posts on the corruption of the GOP as a climate change denial entity. Don't listen to the climate change deniers. They are not, I repeat, not telling the truth. And the reasons for the climate change denial are entirely greed-based, for-profit, for power, for short-term political gain. I'm sorry to see this, and my old party has gone that way, but they've gone a lot of bad ways over the past 2 decades, none of which I can condone, and climate change being one of them. People are saying, oh, well, it's bad to talk politics. Well, when the politics go bad, it's our responsibility to call it out. And the GOP have definitely gone a bad way when it comes to politics. Okay, so as I always do, I just like to ask you guys to please do everything you can to help speed the transition to clean energy. And this will protect our coastlines from the impacts of climate change. This includes sea level rise, more intense storms, ocean heat waves, which we are seeing more of because of fossil fuel burning, and the nasty ocean acidification that we are also seeing more of because of fossil fuel burning. If we do mass deploy clean energy, it will stop the carbon pollution that is coming from fossil fuel burning, and it will halt the climate crisis in its tracks. We can do this by lifting our voices to support clean energy, by not supporting candidates that deny climate change, apparently all of the GOP these days, and by also doing our best to transition ourselves to clean energy if we have the resources. So we can do this. We can make the change, but we gotta, lift up our voices against those who are climate change deniers and just let them know that it's wrong. We don't have to be mean about it, but we can be assertive and tell them, hey, dudes, it's just the wrong thing. It's the wrong way. It's a bad way. Let's not take the bad way. Let's just stick to truth and science and facts and the good path forward, which is sustainability, which means more jobs for everybody and a better life for everybody. So let's just do it. It's just right. And morality and justice, I mean, those are U.S. values. So let's just urge our politicians and all the people out there to uphold them. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX wave report. Shout out to our expert drone operators in Colorado, and we will be staring at the dragon's teeth this week, I bet you. All right, thank you guys for joining me once again. Hope you guys get out into the water and enjoy some good rides. Hope you got some great waves.